We are back. Breakdown Boys, Wade Sensei.
Oos.
Back with an interesting question from our friends over at Rill and Wills. Yes, we made up.
Our friends over the, what is the phrase?
You got it. I'm not going to say it. No, you got it. Go ahead.
No. Across the bay. No, dude. What is it? Across the harbor? It's on the other side of the harbor, kid. They're on the other side of the harbor, son.
It's the pond. Across the pond.
Across the pond.
There you go. Our friends from across the pond.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because I'll probably get canceled now. But you know what I'm saying? Like, those kind of terms, that terminology, those phrases is just like, you know what I mean?
What?
Like,
what?
Like we heard about like, remember I was talking about paper toilet with Josh? You know what I'm saying? He's Dominican. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, you could reverse it because of languages and stuff. Yeah, it's colloquial. We'll say that.
I might be a little too Puerto Rican-y for that phrase to remember it.
Across the pond. You got to say it's like across the bay or the harbor.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's one of those like knee slappers things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one that you get, no one else does. That's a usual here for FaZe Sensei. But speaking of getting the idea, Sensei, there's a pretty interesting proposal from AnEsonGib's strength and conditioning coach / padman / been there since the get-go, Leon Wills, regarding this, by the way, now fully announced, July 15th, official date for Kingpin number 2. He has said a pretty damning and potentially career-ending statement to his fighter, Gib.
Yo, this is why I take nothing personal from Leon, because he'll say it's an anybody. That's why I love him, bro.
He's got no filter. He would tell you the same thing. He would say it to... the man told Austin to come and train with him if he wanted to ever get back into the game and start winning. Said, I've studied you like no one else has. Come train with me if you want to win. I was like, damn. That's who he is, man. But let's just take a listen at what Leon had to say about this matchup between Jarvis and Gib, who we have said is not just one-way traffic, in our opinion, to Gib. We think this is a competitive fight here.
Oh, for sure.
So let's see what Leon had to say about that. Are you watching? Okay, good.
Yep.
Versus Jarvis is a big fight. I'm backing Gib for it. Call me biased if you like, but I genuinely do think Gib gets the win.
Has to. If Gib can't beat him, he might as well retire.
Retire?
Call it a day.
Hey, Lee, man.
Call it a day.
What's wrong with you?
I say, no, brother.
Call it a day.
You've been doing it too long.
You have been doing it a long time. Yeah. You can't let the freshman come through
call it a day.
and show you up. It's true.
Call it a day. When you see Jarvis, you see your former self. That's my nephew.
He's in 29.
Yeah, my nephew, man. You treat him like such. Big fight.
Jeez. I like how, by the way, in the UK, Vidal said it. He said it's the freshman, but it's the freshman. Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
The freshman. That's things. Bars, though. I don't even know if they meant it like that, but that's the freshman bars. But there you have it, man. Leon not playing no games. You got to treat him like the nephew he is. That's you in the past, buddy. You're past that now. 5 years in the game to his 1. What do you think about that? Strong words from Leon, but I think something that Gib already knows. He
correct
has to win this fight.
The correct words coming from his coach. When you hear that, man, like he's saying you should retire, like that's putting confidence because he knows what Gib can do.
Yeah.
He knows his potential. So that's him saying you should win this fight and you should win it by a long shot because I've seen your potential. I've seen the way you work. I've seen you do this. Jarvis hasn't done that yet. He hasn't been through the fires that you've been through. He hasn't been through the fights, the downs that you've been through. So the years of training, this is what should happen. Now, Vidal was like, oh,
what do you mean retire? What do you mean?
Come on, Lee, what are we saying?
Yeah.
Retire already? Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Even though he's been doing it longer, we just had a little crazy debate off camera for a second, talk.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Yes, he's been doing it longer, but Jarvis, to me, if you're talking about where they were at in terms of their development and training-wise, Jarvis had a bit of a head start. And when I'm talking about a head start is physically.
Yeah.
Jarvis had a bit of the intangibles. He won his first fight via KO, right? He came out. Naturally, we saw him fight. He had the speed.
He's got an aptitude for it.
Speed, a bit of the power. Obviously, Gib was tough, had the cardio, but it took time, a lot of time, for Gib to develop the speed and the power. And if you look at Jarvis, the the gaps he's been able to close in his game, and we already see the speed and power from him, right? And this is going to be his third fight?
Yeah.
In the scene?
This will be his third one.
So physically, like they're as an athlete, they're different.
Mhm.
And that matters because we've seen people come in as the fresh man. We've seen people come in as the new kid on the block. But because they're such good athletes and they're gifted, more so than their opponent, that helps even the playing field
A little bit.
when it comes to the experience,
A little bit.
right? And that's why I think you hear Vidal. I'm like, listen, Jarvis has got, even though he's a new guy, he's got game. Like Vidal. Vidal is a perfect example of that. These other guys may have a little bit of experience on him, but he's got game. He's athletically gifted. He's got the instinct, and if you can fight, you can fight. You don't need to figure that out.
So I'll give you a little inside scoop, and we'll do a little bit without telling too much. I was just in Las Vegas, buddy. And let me tell you, when you say that Jarvis may be the better athlete, we've heard this with Gib before. We've heard it in a lot of Gibbs fights. He's going against the better athlete, the guy that's slick, the maybe the better boxer.
This is true. Yes.
That's true. But I've also now, with my own eyes, seen Jarvis work in person. And granted, it was for a short period of time, but we know what gym he's in. We know he's in the doghouse at Mayweather's boxing. I know that from being in there, Jeff Mayweather in the building got eyes on him while he's working. And
how long has he been in the doghouse for?
Now 2 years.
2 years, son.
By the way, I will say this, and Vidal, if you're watching, Jeff had very high praise for Vidal Riley.
Dope.
Easily, when I say he's going to be a world champion at cruiserweight, people laugh at me. And they say, oh, yeah, it's your boy, that's why. Jeff Mayweather said the same thing. So, take that for what you will. Vidal Riley's going to be a world champion.
Bars.
But I got to see a little bit, and Sensei, we now have pulled up my Instagram. This is not for me to flex my 7,000 likes, but hey, you know what it is, what it is. You know yourself.
Hey.
You know yourself. In 8 hours, 7,000, you know yourself. But I want to show you some pictures. I cut off, by the way, the shoes in this pic purposely because I put the same pic on Twitter, just so everybody can see here. Put the same pic on Twitter, and, it turned into a roasting session of said shoes. So there's those.
I look like me. That's Sensei shoes right there.
I swear we're bringing back the Asics, dog. I don't care what people say. We're bringing them back.
That's the Sensei fit right there, son.
Everything clean. Look at that watch, the pants. Yep. Yikes, buddy.
Yeah. With the running shoes, the dad shoes. That's what we doing.
We bringing back dad looks 2023. But anyway, so this is the picture that I took because I can't exactly say what I was. I mean, people can maybe draw conclusions, but it's something that you have never seen on any channel that I've ever done. It's a brand new thing I'm trying here for some things coming up. It's hard to not let anything out, but there's things, there's fun stuff coming, and I think you guys can maybe do some of it. But here's the picture that we took, and that Jarvis doesn't look like a Fortnite playing Jarvis, ladies and gentlemen.
No, sir. Looks like a freaking running back. Looks like a football team pick, bro.
That is the Monstars, ladies and gentlemen.
Literally.
So, Sensei, obviously, it's just a picture. What are we saying?
Bro,
that's work. And again, I was in this training session with Jarvis, and I got to, like I said, I just got to see, the reason that we talked about, Gib is he's always beating the different athletes. Athleticism don't mean anything. True, when athleticism isn't working like that,
Here's the other thing, too, though. This, like Gib, and I got to give him his due credit, Jarvis was not like this
until.
Like, exactly. He got this from boxing, and his training from boxing. Yeah. So he was like, he had some athleticism, but it wasn't this. He was already a strong guy. He lifted, he was in shape, he would work out. He's a strong guy. But not this. Like, Gib, you see him like he's shredded up, lost some weight.
Gib is shredded.
This is Jarvis putting on muscle.
Yeah, bro.
From training boxing. So
I told him this
too.
too.
Austin got his athleticism from basketball.
Right. That was there. Yeah. But the other stuff, he's learning it as a boxer.
It's kind of like Kenny. This is why Kenny's athleticism is so sneaky, because even though he didn't have like an athletic background, all of his strength, his conditioning, his speed, everything that his training, his physique has come from purely boxing training,
Mhm.
right? And his strength and conditioning that's been for boxing. So we're seeing him getting faster and stronger. We're not like you said, like Austin's a perfect example. Basketball athlete, yes, but how's that translating? Like, this is not a translation. This is him being built as an
By
athlete
boxing.
for boxing. Big
And
difference.
we know that Gib is training like a madman in his own right because he's been putting out.
Give the same way though. Give the same way.
He's been putting out his training footage. He's with Leon. They're working, doing their whole thing. My point in saying all this is to say this is probably going to be the most of a dogfight we've seen in influencer boxing in a long, long time because both these guys have that mentality. Both of them. Gibbs not taking back steps for nobody as far as letting people walk all over him. Yes, he'll be a better, more concise boxer. We've talked about this in episodes before. He's going to use his jab. He's going to work off it, in and out movements. Fighting smart. But Leon's mentality is siphoned into Gib. That's your nephew. You treat him like that. Big power shots. We're sitting down on punches now. You got power now. I can tell you from being in the doghouse that there's a lot of people talking to Jarvis, not just in his corner during some of these things he's doing in the gym. So he's getting it from some of the OGs in there, and they're not taking it easy on him, man.
No.
Not at all. Like, he's getting beat up in there, and he's giving it back. Again, just from what I've seen. So I can imagine what's going on in the everyday. So this is going to be one of those ones, man.
Yeah.
This might be, I might be overhyping it. It might be, Wade, you work at Kingpin, so blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, though, you don't get many, interesting matchups like this. It's going to be fireworks, man. I'm telling you now.
Hopefully nobody goes down early.
I know.
So we can get gifted with one of the best fights ever.
Classic. This could turn into a classic. So quickly. So, and this is why I might push back a bit on Leon here. And this is, I was making a long point here, but I know from his point of view, from that camp's point of view, this is do or die, right? This whole tournament. So not getting to the final is a massive, massive letdown because you are looked at as the guy to get to the final. And this is why this fight's so important because this is a sneakier fight than people are giving it credit for. This is not a cakewalk for Gib. But should he lose it, in no way should Gib retire. And I don't think he would.
At all. No, it should not. No, it should not retire because, again, unless, you can say, okay, if he gets, starched
just
right away.
Flat, first punch, just, out cold, then they're like, But
that's kind of like anybody, though, when you take a shot like that.
Yeah.
But, if you have a full fight, that's because we know what Gib's going to bring. But we know that's because Jarvis is going to bring that game. And again, I'm trying to think of any other influencer. Yes, Jarvis doesn't have the same experience of the activity or the fights, but who has gone? We're talking about the doghouse, bro. Who has been in the doghouse for 2 years? Who has survived the doghouse for 2 years?
I don't know, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like you're a guy who's you're controlling your environment, you're bringing people in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The only
Jarvis
thing
in the freaking
he's in the muck with it. He's in one of the best gyms in boxing, as far as producing prospects. They got a guy in there now. They call him Little Tank. The kid he's 17 years old. I think he's like a 9 or 10 or 11 time world champ. He's a freak, dude. He's in there with Jarvis from what I'm hearing. They put him in there with Jarvis.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This is what was that? Was it Black House or something like that? Remember the MMA gyms that were
Black
notorious
Zillions.
for Black Zillions that were just notorious for being dog houses. And Leon knows this because Leon
you're talking shoot the box guys back in the day.
Yes.
Shoot the box guys, the Brazilians that would just fight. That's
what I'm saying. If you got 2 years of experience in there, okay, you survived it. That's got to count for something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's different than traditional camp and someone just working with you, preparing you, getting you ready for a fight. It's its own fight in a sense. Being in the doghouse for 2 years, if you're there not for a couple months, 6 months, just doing a camp, he's been there off camp, which means they're not just protecting you, bro. When you're in camp, all right, this guy's got a fight coming up in a couple weeks. We need to be very specific about it. No, when you got room to grow and we don't know where you're at, we don't know your ceiling, or when you have a fight coming up, you're just in there, bro.
Yeah.
Just getting work. And people aren't you know what I'm saying? Coaches aren't going to be all right, we got to make sure we got to be very specific and protect this guy. No, we got time for you to recover from taking damage. So
and he's with Otis, who we know is 40 years in
Yep.
the game, bro. So
So
but here's
I
the thing
could just
too.
I could imagine.
It's a lot, and Jarvis is doing all the right things. But let's not discount, like you said, Gibbs' experience, but also his team's experience. You talked about Leon being in those same situations, how his mindset is
for
bred.
sure.
This is why Gibb is the way he is, right? That team has formed him, has morphed him into a freaking soldier in there. Like, he just doesn't quit. He doesn't stop. There is none.
Yeah, no.
They don't know it, right? There is no tomorrow, Apollo Creed style. So it's just interesting. I do worry just, if we are looking at the last fight for Jarvis, I do worry about him getting hit as much as he got hit. Not that it was
for sure.
Not that it was like it affected him in that fight, but it will in this one. Absolutely, Gibb has shown he's got power now. He's putting fools down.
No, yeah, like them two matching up.
It's fireworks, bro. It's
definitely but it's a lot
insane.
closer that Leon is saying, to the point where definitely Gibbs should not retire if he
No.
loses to Jarvis. It's not like
And vice versa, the same thing.
This fight's
Jarvis with a loss to Gibb
Oh,
is
100%.
this is
Yeah,
this is
no.
one of the better losses you can have. You know what I mean? So regardless who wins this thing, the loser is going to, if the fight goes the way I think it will, and the way I'm hoping. I mean, for selfish reasons, I'm hoping we get that classic. But if it goes the way I think it will, both guys' stock is going to be raised exponentially from this, and it'll be looked at when this thing is all said and done. Not just the tournament, but the influencer boxing scene in general, as one of the better fights that we've ever had. I truly believe that.
it may be one when you watch this, and then other fighters will look at this fight and be like, I don't want to fight either one of those guys.
It'll be again, we may be overhyping it here. It's wishful thinking, but it might be one of those moments that we all in that night, and the fighters that are on that card, no matter what they're doing, because it'll be the co-main from what I assume. I think they're probably going to have Wenderson be the main. Everyone on that card, if you're not fighting, or even if you're warming up, you'll probably stop for a little bit, just take a peek, because that's one of those
100%.
things, So to answer Leon's question, the winner of this one, legendary. The loser, I think you just keep on trying.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what